A lot of you know me. I've grown up in this church. I went to Faith Christian School all through high school. And after Faith, I ended up going to YWAM Kona, same place that Anna went to. And I was there for 3 months. We did 3 months of schooling, and then we did 3 months of outreach. And we went to America. You know, usually you go to YWAM to go to the nations. It's all nations focused. But because of COVID, we went to America, and I just remember the day standing at the Ohana court, looking up at the screen, and everyone, like, I'm seeing my friends run out there, and they're like, Alaska, California, like Arizona, all these cool places, and I'm standing there, and it's Minnesota. and I was just, jeez.
Be careful, I'm from there.
What? Yeah. I said, every time I'm taking a shot at Minnesota. But, yeah, it ended up being so good. And so in September, I'm going back to Kona, and I'll be staffing there. So I'm committing to at least 2 years of staffing at that Kona base, and I'll be leading teams of students that come in, like it's like 2 leaders, and they lead a team of however many students, like 10 to 12 students, to the nations. And I'll get to do that at least twice with them. And so that's kind of my plan. But how I got there is crazy, because in high school, I was the least qualified. Yeah, I didn't want to say this, but I'm sitting there and God told me, he said, he pointed out that I was the least qualified because I had a face. I had a face that I put on at church. I had a face that I put on at school, a face that I even put on to my family. And it wasn't true, because behind the scenes, I was addicted to pornography the whole time. And I'm a living testimony that addictions, that those lies of the enemy don't disqualify us. I am a living testimony. And I'm so passionate about this because for years it kept me down, and the enemy told me, even after I'd broken out of it, that God can never use you because you used to be addicted. Even breaking out. And so I believe God told me these things and told me to tell these things because I believe there are people in here, and maybe you're addicted now, maybe you've been addicted, and the enemy is still telling you that God's call on your life isn't important, that you can't fulfill it because you were addicted. And I'm here as a testimony saying that's not true. God's a God who redeems.
Amen.
He redeems. Every time, he is so faithful to redeem. He doesn't just want to take you and heal you, but he actually wants to take. It's so cool because my testimony, I shared my testimony of going through pornography and where I was stuck and all these things. I shared it on a men's Instagram page, and I saw so many kids are in high school, in colleges, and they were being set free from this.
Amen.
And the very thing that the enemy thought he was destroying my life with, the enemy thought he was breaking God's call on my life with, is now the very thing that God is using me to destroy. And so right now, I'm here to say that God's call on your life doesn't break out addictions. If the enemy has stuck you with addiction and you're struggling, you've struggled in the past, God can call you, God can redeem that, God can use you to now destroy the thing that you hate so much. Because it hurts. You think back and it hurts, man. I am sick to my stomach when I think of the things I used to think about and look at. But now God has called me to break it off. And I'm seeing the enemy. We look at Jesus, and it actually says that if the enemy knew what he was doing putting Jesus on the cross, he never would have put him there. And so right now, if the enemy knew what he was doing when he stuck you with an addiction, whether that's alcohol, whether that's drugs, whether that's pornography, anything, if the enemy knew what he was doing, he wouldn't have put you there. And so right now, it's time to turn and put it on his head. Yeah. Romans 8:1, there is no condemnation. The most powerful thing I've seen is people are like, you're just so vulnerable. You just say it. Because there's no condemnation. There is no shame in my heart. Because God broke it off, and I'm a child of God.
Amen.
And God cloaks us in the righteousness of Jesus. When I stand before God one day, I know that he's not going to look at my struggles in the past. But he's going to look at me the way he looked at his son Jesus, who walked perfectly and blamelessly.
Amen.
And that's the same for all of you. So, thank you.